What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Marking Out for Wrestling with your host, Nate. Now, we have a variety of topics we are looking to look at. Now, last time I said we would do a couple topics in the future podcast. This is the future podcast. Now, we have how I became a WWE fan, which we will talk about last. Then we have WWE should stop the brand split and why, if I was running the company, why I would do that. Of WWE's pay-per-view booking, Triple H's booking with pay-per-views. Now, first of all, if you call it PLE or Premium Live Event, you're weird. Like, what are you doing? You just became a fan then. Because even after it's been called PLEs, I'm still over here calling it pay-per-views. Because that's what I'm used to. I mean, we call it PLEs in AEW. We call it PLEs or pay-per-views, I meant, in WWE. We call it pay-per-views in UFC. We call it that in boxing. So if you call it PLEs, then I just don't understand why. Why? If you don't like it, maybe you slip up and say pay-per-views and then correct yourself. Okay, but like if you call it PLEs like just normally, casually, you're just weird. But next, AEW botches wrestling, my wrestling Mount Rushmore, and I just miss WrestleMania season, and that's the first topic we are going to get onto. So, 1 second, I didn't go to Twitter, but on Twitter, I seen a post saying that WrestleMania season, like they missed WrestleMania season. And to be honest with you, when I saw this banner of Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes, I was like, that's when I noticed. I was like, you're right. You're right, to be honest, because Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns, WrestleMania season was so good. I mean, come on, we had The Rock appearing on every single episode of SmackDown. Maybe not every single episode, but a few. He was showing up like 3 times in a row. And that's what people need to understand. He was showing up more than Roman Reigns. He was showing up more than Roman Reigns. We got a heel turn by him. We had The Miz and R-Truth. Seth Rollins as champion. CM Punk and Drew McIntyre feuding together. We're still getting that right now, but the build up to WrestleMania with all three of them feuding with each other, that was a classic. That was. And just seeing this clip of Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns, the card, man, I do miss WrestleMania season. And you know, it was just so much going on in a matter of 2 months. The Rock was gonna steal Cody Rhodes' spot. He took his place as the head of WWE, like on the board of TKO. He took his place, put his power to use, and he was gonna steal Cody Rhodes' spot. And Cody Rhodes, the fans chanted, "We want Cody." And that's what they got. They got Cody at WrestleMania, finishing his story. The Undertaker appeared. I thought it was going to be Stone Cold Steve Austin. And I do think it was supposed to be Stone Cold Steve Austin. However, what I know, they probably didn't pay me enough. Now, he said it's hard to get him out of Nevada. So he was probably asking for big money to just come to Philadelphia and just to stun The Rock and leave. So he was asking for big money. And Undertaker, you already knew Undertaker was going to be at all the shows. You already know that because he's a legend. He's going to I've seen multiple pictures of the Undertaker at backstage at shows even when he's not even on the thing. I do miss WrestleMania 40 season. We had The Rock appearing. What I do not like that The Rock did was when he had that concert, he was like, "Oh, I love you," wherever he was. I think he was in Detroit or something. He was like, "I love you, Detroit." Like, why are you, bro? You're supposed to be a heel. You are supposed to be a heel. You don't love them. I get it. You could have a concert, but you don't love them. But next topic is my wrestling Mount Rushmore. Undertaker's wrestling Mount Rushmore is Triple H, Kane, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and the Road Warriors. Which, first of all, that's the Road Warriors are literally two people. So, but let me not. 4 wrestlers that I think are on the Mount Rushmore of WWE. Stone Cold Steve Austin. I think he's one of the best. He's carried the company for years. Even now, he gets the biggest pop in all of wrestling. All of wrestling. He could get a big if he's showing up every week on SmackDown or Raw. He would get the biggest pop. Then let me see. Let me have an example. Then a returning John Cena. I think Stone Cold Steve Austin would get a bigger pop than a returning John Cena. I do. Because Stone Cold Steve Austin has that power. Now older wrestling fans who used to be fans in the Attitude Era, they love him. I feel like wrestling fans who just became fans can go back to see his work, see his matches, see his promos, see his storylines, and they will fall in love with him. He's one of my personal favorites, and I was not even born when he was wrestling. That's why it was a pleasure to watch, his match live versus Kevin Owens at WrestleMania 38 when he came back. That was fantastic. The second person I have on my Mount Rushmore is The Undertaker. Undertaker has been there all day. Or not all day. All his career. His whole career. Ever since he started his career. Other people went to WCW. Then went to WWE. Undertaker was told he could not make it by officials in WCW. What'd he do? He went to the WWE. He gained the trust of Vince McMahon. And ever since then, he's been in the WWE. He's still in the WWE. He has a Legends contract for the rest of his life. That says something. When you have a wrestling contract for the rest of your life, that says something. For sure. He's an impact. As much as he only showed up during WrestleMania season, during 2010, 2020, all the way to 2020, or maybe even earlier than 2010. But he still made an impact. Even though he showed up, he was on a part-time schedule. He still made an impact. My third option is Hulk Hogan. As much as I hate Hulk Hogan, I will never say anything nice about Hulk Hogan except for this. And you could clip this. I will never say anything nice about Hulk Hogan on this show except for this. But I can't have those feelings when I talk about wrestling Mount Rushmore. Hulk Hogan made an impact on the WWE. I don't like him, but that doesn't change the fact that he still made an impact on the WWE. There's my third option. My fourth and final option. I feel like those first three that I had, if you didn't put them on your Mount Rushmore, you're wrong. I know there's not really a wrong or right answer for these opinions. However, if you didn't put Hulk Hogan, Undertaker, and Stone Cold Steve Austin on your wrestling Mount Rushmore, you're absolutely wrong. However, this last person, I think you got to put somebody that actually made an impact on the WWE. However, there's no right or wrong answer to this, to the last one. However, I think it is John Cena. John Cena he was the only one really doing good in the PG era. He wasn't in the PG era at first, but then when WWE turned PG, he was able to succeed in the PG era. He was. He still shows up in the WWE part-time, maybe once a year. He's had at least one match every single year in his career. He's had at least one match. Don't forget, he had that little match with The Miz and R-Truth as his partner. So he already completed his match for this year. He retires next year. And I think that's really going to hit because, man, I have not got to see a John Cena match in person. And, man, maybe I see a match next year, Hopefully he's wrestling on Raw and SmackDown too. Because I most like with WWE's pay-per-view prices, I definitely am not going to be able to go to that. However, John Cena is on the Mount Rushmore. I feel like you could put anybody for that spot. You could put Shawn Michaels. You could put John Cena. You could even put Roman Reigns. However, the first three options, they must be on your Mount Rushmore. Undertaker, Stone Cold Steve Austin, John Cena, and who did I say? Hulk Hogan. Those are my 4 Mount Rushmore wrestlers for the WWE. Now, AEW, where the botch wrestle. As we all know, Tony Khan put that little speech, made wrestlers go out and say that speech with AEW, where the best wrestle. What are these botches, Tony? I know it's not your fault. You're not the one in there wrestling, but have these wrestlers go through training. Have these wrestlers, bro. Isn't Ring of Honor technically a developmental brand? Isn't it? Have them go there. Have them train off camera. Don't film it. Don't put it on television. Have them do that. Because these aren't normal botches. These aren't botches where, they slipped off the rope. oh, they didn't connect with the punch, and it was clearly obvious they didn't connect. This is not a clear, like, one of those botches. This is a botch that could lead to death. She dropped her on her head. Almost, you know? And that's why a pile driver is banned in the WWE. Because there are only a selective amount of wrestlers who could do that move. And do it properly. Undertaker does it fantastic because he's tall. He'll be able to hold you up and have his knees hit first. So he is very tall. However, these wrestlers, not saying only tall wrestlers can do it, but they need to know how to do it to perfection if they are not tall and they do these moves. They need to. Because at this point, it's not a regular botch. It is a near-death experience botch. Which is scary. Because if one of these days something is going to happen. Edge, he's never gotten injured since he returned to the WWE. Maybe once, maybe twice. But other than that, never. He went to AEW. First, 2 months of him being... Not 2 months. I forget. He came in AEW, last year in 2023. But he broke his leg. Why is he jumping off of steel cages? You are 50 years old, Edge. I'm not calling you Adam Copeland. You are 50 years old. Why are you jumping off cages? You said you want to end your career on your own terms. Do that. Don't do those moves. There's plenty of people you could have a great match with. Malachi Black. Jon Moxley. Bryan Danielson. Revisit that rivalry with Bryan Danielson. Darby Allin. There are plenty of people you could have a great match with. However, you are getting injured. And that time you are injured, your career is tick-tock. It doesn't, oh, he's injured. Let's pause the career. Let's pause the aging. No, it doesn't do that. You're still on the clock. And these wrestlers are young. And they're doing this. See, I don't mind flippy flips, all this. I actually like that wrestling. That's actually one of my... when I watch a regular match, I might, go on my phone, then look back at the match and stuff. Even with WWE. But when I watch the flipping wrestling, I do watch that good and I keep my eyes on that because I like it. However, if you don't know how to do that stuff, if you don't know how to, do it carefully without landing on your head or landing on your head, don't do it. Just have a normal wrestling match. It's still going to be good. Don't have it obviously be bad, but it's still going to be good. Just do that, please. Don't risk your career or your life. But that's enough of that. Next, we are getting into is WWE's pay-per-view booking. I don't have an image for this. However, WWE's booking with pay-per-views. I'll be honest. Vince McMahon books pay-per-views better than Triple H. I said it. You want to debate with me? Comment down below. You want to debate with me? Message me on Instagram. Link in the description. But Vince McMahon books pay-per-views better than Triple H. Hunter, you don't have to book 8 matches in order for the show not to be 10 hours as he said. You can book 8 matches without the show being 10 hours. Just look at WrestleMania. That was a decent amount of time for a wrestling show. Actually, I can't really remember. Night 1 was good. Night 2, I think it ended at 12 or 11. I don't know. Maybe not. But the show Bash in Berlin was 3 hours, 4 hours. That's the amount of time on Monday Night Raw. So it doesn't feel special. It doesn't. I'm not gonna, while I'm watching a pay-per-view on WWE, it's not gonna feel special other than, the matches. But it's still Monday Night Raw, just full of matches, just full of fantastic matches. I'll be honest. Make the pay-per-view a little bit longer, at least an hour extra longer, but have more matches. We got Carmelo Hayes and Andrade not getting a spot on the pay-per-view. And their rivalry isn't hitting the same. These rivalries are not hitting the same when the matches aren't on pay-per-views. When it's on SmackDown or Raw. I'll be honest, it's not. It's really not. When you have these 5-card matches, yeah, they're good. But come on. And the reason why I said Vince McMahon's booking is better than Triple H when it comes to pay-per-views is because Vince has more matches. Yeah, the matches might not, not the matches. However, the storyline leading to the matches might not be as good. I'll be honest, might not be as good. But there are more good matches than bad matches. There are. I just think Triple H could add at least, bro, the least you could do is 6 matches. But 5? Come on. 5? I don't understand. You didn't even do 8 matches for SummerSlam. You did 6, 7? I don't know. But for the big shows, at least do 8. That's the least you could give us. Especially when you're in another country too. Because your main audience is in America. So the pay-per-views are coming in at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. And you're giving us 3-hour shows. Now it's like, all right, now the show's over. The show ends at 5 o'clock. All right, I'm going to go to the store. I still have stuff to do. I still have stuff to do after the match or after the pay-per-view ended. Now, maybe I'm being selfish because there are people from all around the world that watch the WWE. However, your main audience is in United States. So, I'm just nitpicking at this point. However, that's how I feel. Make the matches at least 6 matches, at most 8 matches for the regular pay-per-views, and then WrestleMania could be 7 on each night. SummerSlam, they're making that 2 days, which I don't agree with. They shouldn't make SummerSlam 2 days. I think SummerSlam, yeah, it's a big pay-per-view. However, WrestleMania is the biggest pay-per-view. The biggest pay-per-view should be 2 nights. That's what I think. That is what I think. The biggest pay-per-view should be 2 nights. I don't think it should be 2 nights for SummerSlam. WrestleMania, I okay. I don't care. More wrestlers get a chance. However, SummerSlam, come on. Next, we are going to get into the WWE must stop the brand split. I gave a little bit of a reason on, my last episode. However, they must stop the brand split because on Raw, you have Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, Sami Zayn, Seth Rollins, if I didn't already say him, CM Punk, if I didn't already say him. Then on Raw, you have Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens, Randy Orton. Oops. Who? Speaking of who, you don't even have the New Day on SmackDown. The least you could do is have the New Day on SmackDown. The New Day and Karrion Kross on SmackDown. But no, you don't have them on SmackDown. And that is why Raw is a better show as of now, because they don't have the star power that Raw has. Cody Rhodes, he didn't end the show. His appearance on the show is a promo to open the show, and he runs in to help somebody. Or maybe he only runs in and doesn't even cut a promo on the show. In the middle of the match, in the middle of SmackDown, not even at the end. So, should they stop the brand split? Yes. 100%. Especially if they're not even gonna do Raw versus SmackDown at Survivor Series, like they did the 5v5, and they're just gonna do War Games, stop the brand split. Stop it. Survivor Series isn't about SmackDown versus Raw anymore. It's just about surviving. Maybe a team is gonna survive. That's what it's about. It's not about SmackDown versus Raw no more. Yeah, we could get the WWE champion versus the World Heavyweight champion. That's cool. Intercontinental champion versus the United States champion. That's cool. Both tag team champions against each other. That's cool. But we're not getting the traditional 5v5 like we used to. I do like War Games matches. However, I don't like it every single year. Like what they did this last year when CM Punk returned. It was just a random team thrown together. Yeah, Randy Orton returned, but it was a random team thrown together versus the Judgment Day and Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre isn't even in the Judgment Day. That's just a random team thrown together. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. They should stop the brand split, you know. At least have one of the, and it gives them more opportunity as well. Other superstars to build their storylines, it gives them more opportunities. But at least have like Randy Orton appear on SmackDown and Raw. Like have selective wrestlers appear on SmackDown and Raw. Because then, if you have more superstars on SmackDown, on Raw, then that's going to be a bad show. But if you have more superstars on Raw, SmackDown is the bad show. Stop the brand split, man. Stop it. I don't agree with it at all. But we are in on the main event of the evening, obviously. We have... All right. So, we're back. It was a little cut. However, in our main event, we have how I became a wrestling fan. More specifically, how I became a WWE fan. So, what I'm about to put up on the screen is the first ever WWE match I watched. Boom. Over the Limit, John Cena versus The Miz, I Quit match. So it's a little funny story behind this as well. I'm scrolling, on Instagram. It's 2021. Probably like February, March, maybe even January, who knows? I don't know. Of 2021. And I am scrolling through Instagram. I see a WWE clip. I don't remember exactly what the clip was, but I know it was them using weapons. I know it was doing all this extraness. And I was like, oh my God. I will be honest. I did not know anything about wrestling At first, I thought some of it was real. They knew who would win, but all the punches, everything, it was all real. I thought every fighting was real. I had a feeling that they knew who would win. But other than that, I thought it was all real. So I hear the meme. I'm like, the watch out, watch out, watch out. RKO meme of Randy Orton. I know that meme. I know the Are you sure about that by John Cena. I know and his name is John Cena. I know who John Cena is. I didn't know who Randy Orton was, but I knew the meme. So, you won't believe what I went up to search on YouTube. I didn't know it was called WWE. I didn't know anything. Mind you, I was like 8, 9 years old. Maybe even younger or maybe even older than that. I'm probably exaggerating, but 2021, it's like three years ago. So I was like, I was like 9, 10 years old actually. 8, 9, yeah. But I look up on YouTube John Cena. I look up John Cena UFC. Oh my God. I look up John Cena UFC because I was a fan of boxing. I was a fan of the UFC. I didn't watch UFC like that. However, I was a fan of the UFC. And I watched, these little clips here and there. But I watched boxing the most, and I looked up John Cena UFC. I'm looking for clips because not even matches showed up at the time. I couldn't find matches. There was a clip of him, working out, and then I finally see this. I watch the match. I see how crucial it is because, first of all, he's getting hit over and over with a belt, with a kendo stick. It was crazy. Then there was 2 people. A couple of the first matches I watched. This was the very first. And I'm over here like, dang, this is crucial. Absolutely crucial. Then all of a sudden, you hear this weird voice. Now, I know how John Cena sounded. Every time, do you want to quit? No. Do you want to quit? No. And then all of a sudden, I hear, I quit. And I'm like, first of all, and the bell rang. The bell rang. The Miz was the new WWE champion. He was the new WWE champion. And I was like, this has got to be fake. I was like, this is fake. What is this? But then I saw the referee. He reheard it. And then he restarted the match. And then John Cena won. So that is my very first match I've watched. And then I was like, oh, The Rock is in the WWE as well. Or he was. At the time, I thought he is. Like, I thought these matches were happening in real time, not live. However, they were posted recent, and I didn't look at the date on the titles. They were posted recent. And so I was like, oh, John Cena, he still wrestles. The Rock still wrestles. And then I look up, or the second match I watched, I want to say it was John Cena and The Rock versus R-Truth and The Miz. I watched that match. I'm like, this legendary tag team of John Cena and The Rock. Oh my God. Then I watched The Rock versus John Cena. I watched that match. Good match. And at the time, The Rock had like this little beard. So I thought it was recent. I don't think The Rock had a beard at the time. However, I thought, oh, he has a beard. He's bald. It's most likely recent because all the other clips I've seen, he had hair. It was from the Attitude Era. It was from like way back then. So I thought it was recent. I thought he still wrestled. Then I look up, I want to watch a match from now, like now. Like this one at the time, it was like 1 year ago. But I wanted to watch a match now from his most recent match. I look up John Cena match 2021. Nothing pops up. I'm like, And then all that pops up is this clip of him, talking about WrestleMania 36 at the time. I think it was either 36 or 37. I can't remember quite. However, he was in the suit in like Hollywood in the background and stuff talking about WrestleMania. And I was like, he had hair and I was like, it wasn't till like a week or two later I was like, "Oh, this is all from years ago. This was 2011 from years ago." Okay. So, next thing I watch, couple Roman Reigns matches. I can't remember what exactly. I know it was one of them was Braun Strowman versus Roman Reigns. When Roman Reigns won, I was like, okay, what is going on here? Because at the time, I still thought it was real. I thought some of it was real. I'll be honest. Then I look up, Big Show versus Floyd Mayweather. All right, what's going on here? What is going on here? Then that's when I looked up WWE real. Is WWE real? Is it fake? It was all ruined for me. It was all ruined for me. No, just joking. But, I saw that. I was like, interesting. I watched a couple Big Show matches. I looked up Big Show 2021. I see this clip. Absolutely disgusted me. Still disgusts me to this day. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Paul White to All Elite Wrestling. Disgust me. After all the matches I've seen of WWE when I first became a fan, I was like, wait, he's not. I was sad. I've seen so many matches. He's huge. I'm like, wait, he's not in WWE anymore. What? Now he's in this company that I don't know because I didn't know of AEW in 2021, or at least of April and March. I did not know. So I was like, because I'm hard to watch a wrestling company or a TV show or something if I don't know the characters. That's how I am. I am hard to watch a wrestling show, something, if I don't know the characters. So Big Show, he was Paul White in AEW. I was like, all right, I can't watch him because I don't know how to watch him. I looked up a couple AEW matches. They didn't post their full matches. So I was like, all right, I guess this is the last Big Show match I'm watching on WWE. From years ago. But then I'm looking at Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso. Oh my. At that point, I was like, oh my God. I was in shock because they both were related. At the time, like now in WWE, it's like, oh, is he going to turn heel on his own brother, Now, but back then when I was watching in 2021, when I was watching Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso, I was like, no way he's doing this to his cousin. This is his blood cousin. They look the same. At the time, I'm like, they both look the same. No way he's doing this to his blood cousin. Excuse me. Excuse me again. Roman Reigns was my favorite person of all time at that point. I got WWE 2K20. Played, when you first open it, It was only a limited amount of people that you could play as until the full game actually updated. When you first got it, it was Roman Reigns, and a couple of female talent and other people. I can't remember, but I played as Roman Reigns. I beat, multiple people with Roman Reigns. I recreated matches that are in real life with Roman Reigns, WrestleMania 37 pops up. Edge versus Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns. Oh, that match was so good. That match was so good. I didn't get to see it live because I don't have cable. I didn't have nothing. I didn't have, I didn't know where to watch it, first of all. I was young. I was young. I didn't know where to watch it. Like, even if I had to pay for it, I didn't know I had to watch it on Peacock. I didn't know I had to watch it on WWE Network. I did not know. So, I see, the clips and stuff. Roman Reigns is champion. I'm just like, oh my. I go to sleep, wake up next day. I look on Instagram. Roman Reigns is like, then, Kayla Braxton or Kayla Braxton? Kayla, I think it's that. Byron Saxon, Kayla Braxton. Yeah, okay. But she's just like, Roman Reigns, your thoughts? And he's just like, acknowledge me, and walks off. Oh my God. Since that day, he was my favorite WWE wrestler of all time. My favorite. My personal favorite. Now it's CM Punk, but that's because I learned, everything about CM Punk. That, he's against the authority. He's against like backstage politics. He doesn't kiss butt, pretty much. And CM Punk became my favorite. Roman Reigns is my next favorite after that. Well, you know what? Let me read off my list of favorite WWE wrestlers of all time. Of all time. And this is, it doesn't matter, Attitude Era, before that, it doesn't matter. Number 1, I have Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels, bro, when he was back in the day, he was such a good wrestler. He was such a good heel. Even like the stories I would hear, oh my gosh, he was so good. So he's my number 1 favorite of all time. Of all time. Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker was an amazing match. Amazing match. Next, we have CM Punk. CM Punk, he's controversial. Shawn Michaels as well is controversial. So, but my first 2 favorites, you could already tell what I like. I like, non-scripted, unfiltered, and that's what I give on this podcast. I don't care what anybody says. I don't. So you could tell by my 2 favorites. Number 3, we have Stone Cold Steve Austin. He has the full package to be the best in the world, actually. He has the music. He has the promo. He has the ring skill. He's possibly the greatest WWE wrestler of all time. Top 5 at least. Of all time, Stone Cold Steve Austin, yes. And he's on the Mount Rushmore. Man. Number 4, we have Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns. Because he's been my favorite since day 1. He was my first favorite ever since I started watching WWE. So, acknowledge, man. Number 5, we have Jeff Hardy. As I mentioned earlier in this podcast, I do like the flippy flips. I do like that. Nowadays, Jeff Hardy, if he does that, I will be worried. However, back then, oh my, I just went back and watched Christian and Edge versus the Dudley Boys versus the Hardys. Amazing match. Chef's kiss. Amazing match. But we at number 6, we have Randy freaking Orton. Randy Orton is phenomenal. I mean, come on. Come on. We got the music, the entrance, the everything. Just like Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's got the full package to be in WWE. He got the wrestling down. He's got the music, the entrance music down. He's got the promo down. He's a good heel and face. That's the thing. He will make you hate you. Or he will make you hate him. He will. But he will also make you love him. And that's the good thing about Randy Orton. Because some of these other wrestlers, Stone Cold Steve Austin, I feel like if he tried to turn heel now, if he was still a wrestler and he tried to turn heel now, I feel like some people would still boo him. I mean, would still cheer him. Next, we have Adam Copeland, also known as Edge. Shoot, I called him Adam Copeland. I said I would never call him Adam Copeland ever again. This is the last time I would call him that. But we have Edge. Edge in that build up when with Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns, bro. That build up was amazing when Edge was in the ring with the lights off, cutting a promo. You know, he looked like the Divas Championship. Yes. That match was up, or that whole build up was amazing. And the match delivered too. Not a lot of storylines in WWE could say that the match and story delivered. Not a lot of matches in WWE can do that. But and also that match, or that little line that he said to Daniel Bryan, you say that this could be your last WrestleMania. Well, this could be my last ever match. That line hits different now. Because that was Daniel Bryan's last WrestleMania. Remember, Edge's last WrestleMania was at WrestleMania 39. Remember. Number 8, we have Bryan Danielson, also known or formerly known as Daniel Bryan. The wrestling is good. The storytelling when he actually tries is also good. Man, he's one of the small guys where he can beat a big guy believably. Like that Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar, he could have beat Brock Lesnar, and I would have believed it. It's not one of these other small wrestlers like Rey Mysterio beating the Big Show or the Great Khali or Mark Henry. It's not that. Or Floyd Mayweather beating Big Show. But Daniel Bryan, he could beat somebody and I will believe it because he's a technician. Bro, all he has to do is break you down. Just constantly break you down. And then maybe not pin you, but he will submit you. You will pass out. Man. My next is Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare, at number 9, actually. And he's pretty low on my list because, the build up when he was chasing the world championship was fantastic. Fantastic. My favorite wrestler of all time at the time. Even more than Roman Reigns. A little bit. However, after he became champion, he just didn't deliver. And it's sad, to be honest. It is. Because I don't know. I feel like, again, it's SmackDown. Because he doesn't have the credible contenders on SmackDown. He only has Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. AJ Styles, he already faced, and he's nowhere to be found. Which I will get into in another episode, actually, of AJ Styles. What they should do with AJ Styles. But Cody Rhodes, or AJ Styles, is nowhere to be found after, losing to Cody Rhodes. Then Randy Orton, they're probably saving that for like WrestleMania. And I will talk about the WrestleMania 41 card in another future video as well. But, man, I don't get it. Cody Rhodes, just give him credible challengers, man. Like I don't I don't know. I don't know. I think that's what's ruining him right now. Like he is good and he is one of my favorites, as I said, top 10, but like give him a good challenger. That is why his reign is boring right now. I think so. That is why. But at number 10, last but not least, we have MJF. Man, the reason why I have him at number 10 is because I feel like the wrestlers that I named, clear him. Clear him in the wrestling. With Cody Rhodes and MJF, I was like, they were like, I almost put MJF over Cody. However, I just feel like I couldn't disrespect Cody like that much because he has been doing this for years and he is a top guy. He is the champion right now. So I couldn't disrespect Cody that much. I already had him on really low on the list. So I couldn't put that much disrespect to Cody. But MJF, I do like his wrestling. His wrestling it's not the best. It's not the worst. It's, he knows how to wrestle. That's it. He's not the best wrestler in the world. However, he knows how to wrestle. Now if he didn't know how to wrestle and he sucked, that would be a different story. But then he's a storyteller. When he has stories to tell, he will tell them. CM Punk, he showed that with CM Punk. When he didn't like his contract with Tony Khan, he showed that. Oh my gosh, best promo by MJF. I wish it was, I have to throw in my criticism with AEW in this podcast. However, I wish it was real, and I wish he would have went to WWE. However, that promo was fantastic. I wish it was actually unscripted as well. Or not unscripted, however, like Tony Khan didn't know it was happening. I wish it was that as well. But, things happen in wrestling. But, yeah, that is my story of how I became a wrestling fan and who my favorites are. I am your host, Nate, for marking out with wrestling. I don't think I introduced him at all in this podcast, actually. But this right here is Mark. This is Mark. And we mark out for wrestling. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment. Comment what topics you want me to talk about. Because I am controversial on this podcast. Just like CM Punk, just like Shawn Michaels, just like Vince Russo. I am controversial on this podcast. So, if you want me to talk about something, you want me to share my thoughts, you want me to share my thoughts on why I think of what I think about AEW, about SmackDown and Raw, about WWE's pay-per-views, let me know. Anyway, it's been a good one, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Mark out for wrestling like us.